Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry, I don't know who I am anymore. I think that like being inside of my house has just, it's gone to my head. But I mean, I know it's been going years too, so we'll all go crazy together. Okay, anyway, shut up. We're all going through it, you know. I don't need to tell you my problems. I need to tell you how to relieve some of your problems, like how I have relieved some of mine. I'm gonna be quite frank with y'all. Like, I'm a cornball, okay? I'm corny. I love movies. I love TV. Literally, my head's so far in the clouds. I'm a dreamer. Like, I daydream all the time, constantly. You know what? Am I a little embarrassed to admit that? Yeah. But do I give a shit? No. Well, I do, but like, I don't know. I'm like, internally struggling here. Okay, anyway. So, because of this quarantine, because of Miss Rona, I've picked up a little, not hobby, I don't know, like I've been doing something with my time, because I'm procrastinating and I'm not doing any of my homework and stuff. So, I decided to start reading. And I feel like, well, this is a very monumental. Okay, just because I said I started reading does not mean I am literate. I am very much illiterate and grammatically terrible. But anyway, so I started reading and I wanted to tell you guys about a bunch of books that I've been reading. I've read 8 books within like a week. That's a book a day. Who am I? I don't know anymore, okay? I really don't know who I am anymore. So basically, I'm going to tell you guys about the 8 books that I have read. But the first one I want to talk to you guys about, I actually read it a really long time ago when I was 16. Me and my friends, we went to the Dominican Republic, and I was reading before and on the plane and while we were there. And I finished this book literally within 5 days, and I would never really classify myself as a reader, but this book was so good that I read it within 5 days. And then I decided to pick it back up. So it's called Ugly Love, and it's by Colleen Hoover. All of the books that I'm going to be talking to you guys about today are by Colleen Hoover, and she writes romance novels, so... Okay, anyway, don't judge me, okay? Because they're really good. Like, they're really, really, really good. And I know I'm a cheesy cornball, but I'm not... I mean, I might be saying that because I am a cheesy cornball, but I don't know. I really like her books. My friends, while I was on vacation, they read it within like a day or two, because it was like so good, and it's such an easy read. As I said, though, I ended up picking it back up a couple of weeks ago because I gave up Instagram for Lent, not realizing that everything was going to lock down and my life would revolve around my phone or my TV or my computer. Very unfortunate, but also like a very good eye-opener, I guess, because it got me to start reading before I went to bed, and now I'm hooked. I like literally can't stop reading. So this one, it's called Ugly Love. There's the two main characters are Miles Archer and Tate Collins. So Tate just moves to San Francisco because she is going to nursing school, and she's living with her brother since he lives in San Francisco. Tate's brother and Miles, they're both pilots. They live in the same apartment complex, and they live on the same floor. Literally door to door. What ends up happening is Tate and Miles, they form like a physical relationship. I don't want to say friends with benefits, because the whole thing is that they were never friends to begin with. Like, Miles says this whole thing about never ask about my past and never expect a future. That's his rules with their arrangement that they're having. And so it's kind of like you literally set yourself up, sis. Like, I can't feel sorry for you. But the whole book, it talks about, like, it goes into, like, the development of their physical relationship, as well as why Miles doesn't want to be in anything other than a physical relationship. Like, he doesn't want all the stuff. It's broken up into both their perspectives, so you have chapters that are in Miles's perspective, and then you have chapters that are in Tate's perspective, and his, for the most part, are actually in the past, because it's talking about kind of why he is the way he is, and his parts are in poetry, and it's so amazing. Like, it's so good. as I said, I'm illiterate, okay, y'all? But I still thoroughly thought that the writing of this book was pretty well done. There's a little bit of sexy time, so take it how you will. But it's just like, it's so good. And it might be, I'm like a little bit nostalgic because I read it when I was 16 and then I kept on reading it like ever since because it's like it's so good. Just like, I love it so much, okay? This is like one of my all-time favorite books ever, and that's why it's like, I don't know if you can tell, but she's beat up. The pages are like stained and stuff. One of my favorite books ever. They were trying to turn it into a movie. Unfortunately, they didn't get the funding for it, so it kind of got shut down. But the person who was cast to play Miles was Nick Bateman. I don't know if you guys know him. He's on Instagram. I couldn't show you because I gave up Instagram for Lent. But he's like an Instagram model, I think, and he even said that he loved the book so much he read it within like 3 days. That's how good it is, okay? And that was a man's. And I am a woman's. So we both find that the book is amazeballs, okay? Now I'm going to talk to you guys about the next one. So I feel like, I don't know, does anyone else get this way when it comes to like music or movies or books and stuff like that? I get so nervous like if I listen to someone's song and I'm like, oh wow, like this is so good, you know? And then you listen to the rest of the songs on their album or their old stuff and you're like, wow, they're trash. Like, they're so bad. And so I think I've always had like a thing when it comes to like, you know, picking up another one of her books because I was like, well, is it going to be the same? You know, like, am I going to love it just as much? And so I was going to California. When I had gone, I wanted to pick up a book because I read that one yet again, and two, I wanted to pick it up because I was like, you know what, I want to read one of her other books because I want to see if like she's just as good as the first one, you know? And I was not disappointed at all with this book. So this one is called It Ends With Us, yet again by Colleen Hoover. This one, I just like, I'm so glad that this was the one that I read next because I feel like it really like drew me into reading the rest of her books that I'm going to talk to you guys about. So in this one, there's 3 main characters. First, we have Lily Bloom. She is a recent college graduate who just moves to Boston and she starts her own business. And then there's Ryle Kincaid, and I'm so sorry if I mess up any of their names because illiterate. Ryle, he's a neurosurgeon and he's kind of like, I don't want to say stuck up, but he's like very arrogant and he's very like, not aggressive, but I don't know. He has just some like demeanor about him that makes him seem like, I don't know, I wouldn't be attracted to him. He has like an aversion to relationships, right? Like he like doesn't want to be in a relationship because he is so busy at work and so busy like doing this and that. He doesn't have time for a relationship, but he has like a really big soft spot for Lily. So when things are kind of picking up between the two of them, Lily remembers her past relationship with one of her first loves, Atlas Corrigan, I think. Don't judge me if all their names are wrong. It stirs up memories like between her and Atlas, and it's just like, it's so good. It's so good. If you get triggered by certain things, maybe read into what the book's about more, because I know that some of her stuff, it can get a little bit, I don't want to say like racy, but like I wouldn't want to suggest this book and then like it have you triggered by something. So if you like do have certain things, I would just look into. I can write it in the description box, but I don't want to spoil anything for you and stuff. I think what's also really cool too, if you do end up picking up this book, is the sheer fact that Colleen, it's personal. It's not a personal story, like it is fiction, but it is like somewhat personal to her. So it was just like, it was so good. And I read this one within like, I could have read it within a day. I read literally 75% of the book while I was on the plane to California, which is a 5-hour flight, and I didn't put it down. You can ask my cousin. So the next books that I'm going to talk to you guys about, I actually don't have the physical copies of them because I started following Colleen Hoover on Twitter, and so she had tweeted out saying that she was going to have like 4 of her books for free on Amazon because of this whole pandemic that we're going through, which was really, really super awesome of her to do. So I read the 4 books, and I read them literally within like, each of them took me less than 24 hours to read because they're like amazeballs. First one that I read, it's called Verity. I can throw up a picture on the screen for you guys. This one's a bit different for like her normal books. The other 2 definitely romancy ones. This one, it does have a little bit, but it's not as much as the other ones. So Verity is about, oh my god, it gets so confusing because like I read through these books within like I don't even know, so quick, and I kind of got all the characters confused. But so we have Lowen Ashley. Okay, so she's a writer. And then there's Jeremy Crawford. And so Jeremy is married to Verity, who is also a writer. I feel like if you guys really want to know about the books, maybe you should just like look up their descriptions or whatever online, because I'm doing this a terrible, terrible justice. Jeremy's wife, Verity, unfortunately, she goes through a car accident and it kind of leaves her in a vegetative state. So she has a book series. It's a total of 9 books, but she only got to write 6 of them. So the publishing company and Jeremy try to bring in another writer, who is Lowen Ashley, to come and finish the rest of Verity's novels. And she goes and she's looking at all the notes that are in Verity's study, trying to figure out where she wanted to take the next move with the book. But she starts learning about their family, what happened to their family, and it's very creepy. It's like you get chills kind of reading it, and the ending, it's just like, it's wild. It's so super insane. And I don't want to say it's like a thriller, but I would say it's more like suspenseful. You just kind of like, oh, like, what is going on here? But yeah, so that one was really good. That one took me literally, if I haven't already said, I started reading it Saturday night. I ended it Sunday afternoon. Okay, I also did wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning because I like couldn't fall asleep. I was still on California time, which doesn't make any sense because then it would have been 3 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, okay, so the next one that I read was Never Never. And Never Never, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, at first, you guys, I really, really hated it so much. I was like, oh, I really don't like it. They say that you should read like the first 3 chapters of a book before you put it down. And I was honestly gonna put it down because I was like, this is kind of boring. But I'm so happy that I ended up finishing it because it's a really good book. In Never Never, you have Charlize, I don't even know. Yeah, Charlize, but they call her Charlie. And then you have Silas. Charlie and Silas, they end up losing their memory, but they're boyfriend and girlfriend. So it's kind of funny how they lose their memory in the middle of the school day while they're at school, and they have to like play along going around their day to day, but they don't know what's going on or what's happening. And so then they eventually end up like, this isn't spoiling anything, by the way. There's like so much more to her books. There's always like a twist at the end and you're just like, whoa, what the heck is going on? But yeah, so they have to like, they meet at school and then everyone's telling them like, oh, your boyfriend or whatever, and it's just like they're so confused, and they finally admit to each other like, we don't know what's going on, like what's happening. So it's their job to kind of figure out, one, not only who they are, like how they lost their memory and kind of what was going on between them, because they are starting to see that some things weren't like the greatest towards their like the end before they lost their memory and stuff. So they have to try to figure that out, and it's so good. It's like it's like crazy at the end. There's 3 parts to the book. So the first part, it was okay, but you need to read it in order to get and understand the rest of the parts of the book. So then second part was like better, and then the third part was like, wow, blown away, so cool. What it like, whoa, and I'm like so glad that I read it because it's like it's really good. And the next one that I read was Hopeless. Oh my god, my heart literally just like, ah. There is Sky and there's Holder. Sky's adopted at a young age and she lives with her adopted mom, Karen, and right next door, across the street, literally like window to window or whatever, is her best friend Six, and Sky's homeschooled and Six is in public school. So for their senior year, Sky and Six kind of beg Karen. They're like, hey, like, can Sky go into public school because, you know, like she needs extracurriculars and stuff. So her mom finally lets her go into public school, but Six unfortunately ends up leaving. She's studying abroad somewhere, so it's kind of leaving Sky to fend for herself while she's in public school for the first time her senior year. And not only that, there's a bunch of rumors about like Six, and not a lot of people like her, and so she has to deal with, you know, like the people and, you know, like public school and just stuff like that. But she ends up meeting Holder, and there's kind of like a weird connection between the two of them. I always say like you see where it takes them and stuff, because I feel like you can guess, but it won't be able to guess like the little stuff in between that gets you to the end of the book. So I think just like everything in between, all of this and that, like so amazing, insane, such a good book. Also, like I would say this one's another like kind of triggering one too, but it was like really so good. And that one has another one. So Losing Hope is the one after that, so I still have to read that. I haven't read it yet. Another one that I read was Too Late. This book, whoa. I feel like this was also like, I don't want to say different compared to other ones of Colleen's, but like it definitely had more of like a, not an eerie vibe, because I feel like that relates to scary, but it was more of like a, you know, like a little bit more of like a darker vibe, but I don't know how to explain it. In this book, there's like 3 main characters. The chapters are broken up by 3 different perspectives. So you have Sloane, Asa, Carter. So Sloane, she's living with her boyfriend Asa because she has like kind of a terrible family situation, and so she lives with Asa, and like this is like her first boyfriend, her first love, and he takes care of her, but she doesn't like the fact that he's a drug dealer and he does like some shady stuff. So she's kind of like, she doesn't want to be there. Like, even though she loves him, she doesn't want to be there anymore because of all the things that he's doing. But she needs him because he has a house, so she lives with him. And she is using his car to get to school. And so she kind of needs him. Then she runs into Carter, and things just happen. But it's, like, so much more than that. And I loved this book. I think my only complaint was how she broke up the chapters. Not even that, like, or the parts of the book. Because it was, like, the story was, like, 100 or something pages. It says like the end in like the middle of the book, but then there's like a epilogue, and then there's a prologue or something along those lines. And so I wish you would have just broken up into part 1, part 2, and part 3, because it like got, to me it was like kind of weird how it was broken up. But I think that's just like a personal opinion of mine. I mean, who am I, right? I don't flip and read, so I don't know. So that one was so good too. This one also, I would say, like, not like triggering, but like has sensitive stuff in it, so like just be mindful of that as well. Now let's talk about the last 2 books that I have read. So this one this one is called November 9, and like I said, all these books are by Colleen Hoover, okay people, just letting you know. But so in this one, oh my gosh I know that I said that a lot of them like dug in a special place, but like this one, I'll explain it in a little bit, why I like it does something to me, okay? November 9, it's about Fallon and Ben. So Fallon, she unfortunately gets into a really bad accident when she's younger, and she was in a fire, and so now she has scars like all over her body, and she's a little bit insecure and kind of like not confident with herself because of her scars, because she thought that she was like really pretty beforehand. And now she's just like kind of scared to show them off, and she always has her hair in her face and stuff like that. I feel like I'm giving you guys like the whole beginning of the book. But so Fallon meets Ben in a very strange way. But Fallon meets Ben, and they end up hanging out for the entire day. And Ben's a writer, so they come up with this idea that every single year on November 9th for 5 years, they're going to meet up. They don't really say like what they'll do on the days that they do meet up. Like hopefully by the time that they're 23 years old, they want to see where this story will go. Fallon's kind of going to go off and live her life, and then Ben's going to be writing his story, write his book, but he's also going to go off living his life as well. It's just like, it's so good. Like, I did not expect the twists and the turns in this one as well. Like, it's wild. The things that she comes up with, it's kind of crazy. The reason why I love this book so much is that there's, like, character overlaps of the characters that were in Ugly Love, and you see them in this book, and it just, like, I don't know. I just, like, like I said, that's one of my favorite books. So I got so happy that like their story wasn't like dead, it wasn't over, something like that. So that's why I was like, oh my god, like I love this book. It's like, I love it. I love it so much. And then the next one that I did read, it's called Maybe Someday. Okay, this book, very quick read. I read this within 24 hours yet again. I started it at like 10 o'clock at night last night, and then I ended up finishing it today at like 6. And that's with taking like a bunch of breaks and stuff. All I say about her books is that they're good and that they're amazing, but like they truly are. I think that they're written very well. They're quick reads and they just like, I don't know, they captivate me. I really like when I'm reading like the story, how I'm able to envision it in my head. It's like kind of better than a movie almost, and she does like a really good job of that. But anyway, okay, so we have 2 characters. So there's Sydney and then there's Ridge. So Sydney, she just dropped out of law school to pursue a career for music education, and so she's taking classes to do that, and she's kind of just like in a rough patch with her parents because of it. But she is living with her roommate Tori, one of her best friends, and then through Tori she met her boyfriend of 2 years, Hunter. And so the thing is that Hunter is cheating on Sky with her roommate Tori. Puts her in a very tough spot because she's homeless. And she makes friends with this guy across like the courtyard. I don't even know like their whole, how to explain it. But like he's on the one patio, on the one like porch or whatever, and she's on the other side. So they end up becoming friends. And eventually Ridge, the guy from across the hall, takes her, like helps her and lets her stay at their apartment because they have one extra room. So Ridge is actually deaf, but he plays the guitar and he is in a band and he writes the music and the lyrics for all of the band's songs. And the band's like kind of going places. He has like writer's block. So because they're both musical people, he ends up asking Tori for her help with writing songs for the band, and in exchange she's able to stay at the apartment until she kind of like picks herself up on her feet and is able to live by herself and do whatever she wants. But Ridge has a girlfriend, and Sydney starts falling for Ridge. But Ridge, as I said, already has a girlfriend, so it kind of puts them also in a very sticky situation. This one, I can't say that this one was like one of my favorites, but it was still like, it's still a really good book, and I still like left it. I was literally crying, you guys, okay? And also, I'm wearing that same makeup that I did my makeup tutorial with, and you literally, besides the fact that I look a little bit greasy, which we don't want to talk about, you can't even tell, like, the tear stains, because I was literally bawling my eyes out with this one. I cry in all of her books, honestly. Like, I think I could have cried more in some of them, but I get to a point when I'm on my period, and I just, like, I stop becoming so emotional, and then it's, like, I'm very unemotional. And what's really cool about this one, too, is because it's revolves around music and stuff, there's actually music that goes along with the book. So you can look up on the website that they have, and you can listen to the songs that they've written. And I think that that was so genius because like it just adds another element to the book as well. And I think that's another reason why I really liked it, because like it kind of went a step further when it came to a book and stuff. So yeah, you guys, I'm a reader. Like, who would have thought? And you'll probably think I'm nuts. I still have to place like I don't know if I can, like, these books, literally, guys, these are some, and then I also, this is another book. I haven't read it, but I'm about to read it. I'm reading one on my phone right now, another one of hers that's for free online. Like, these literally aren't going to fit on my bookshelves, okay? So I think I have to get an e-reader, and this sucks because, like, I'm actually enjoying it. Like, I do this instead of watching TV or instead of, like, going on Instagram and stuff, and it's so entertaining, but it sucks that I have school soon. I'm like, how am I supposed to work? All I'm going to want to do is read, and I'm not going to read the things that they want me to read. I'm going to want to read the things that I want to read. So this sucks doogie. But anyway, so you guys, Colleen Hoover's amazing. I encourage anybody to read her books. If you're a cornball like myself, I know that you're going to thoroughly enjoy them. If you're not a cornball, and if you don't have like that bone in your body, you probably won't like them. But I mean, hey, who knows? You could always pick it up. You could try it out, because this one, I love this book so much. I also wanted to say that, you guys, if you are embarrassed about being a cornball when it comes to the books that you read, this is a great invention, okay? I don't know where my mom got this, but it's kind of like a book cover. So what I did when I was on the plane was I would put this book cover on so that no one could see what I was reading. so that they wouldn't know that I'm an emotional, sappy cornball of a lady. So that's my spiel on books by Colleen Hoover. I'll probably end up uploading another video at some point in the future because I plan to keep on reading a bunch of books, not just Colleen's, but a bunch of other books as well. I'll have to update you guys on this, like, reader mentality. I don't know. I feel like a changed woman. Like, I'm like, so I read. This is literally like a 30-minute video about books. Who would have thought? Who would have thought I could talk 30 minutes about books? I didn't even know I could do it. I really, really didn't think that I could do it. Ugh. Oops, sorry. If you have like an Amazon subscription, like with Prime, I think that you might be able to find like a couple of her books for free online. I'm not sure if they're still going to be free, but you might be able to. Who knows? Because by the time that I get this video up, you never know. You really don't. But anyway, I wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this encourages you to pick up a book, honestly, because I didn't think that I was gonna like become this new lady, but like I'm so happy that I did. And so I want to encourage you guys to go out and pick up a book and read it, yo. Like, what? Who am I? I don't know. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys next time. Good night. Because it is 10 o'clock at night. It is 11:30 at night when I'm filming this, and your girl is... she wants to read. Okay? Anyway, bye.